What is your name?
Do I have to say my whole name?
No, you can just say your first name.
Oh, Ellen,
And you are my.
grandmother.
And just tell me a little about what your life is like growing up. You grew up in the 60s, which is a very interesting time.
It was. It was very interesting. Just thinking of back that far back, how far I can remember. A couple of the few things I can remember is seeing the Black Panthers up close. I said Black Panthers. The Panthers. What is Black Panthers?
Yeah, they're
Black
the
Panther.
Panther Party, yeah.
Yeah. I seeing them up close. Remembering coming from home from school the day Martin Luther King got shot.
How old were you?
I had to be about 8 or 9. Yeah, and just how people was just frantic and kind of acting crazy. It was like, what is going on here? So those things I can remember. Experiencing and learning and knowing that mentally there were some challenges in people in the family, especially my mom. My mom was schizophrenic and manic depression, and so
We twins.
so she never really, I can't say grew up. She just couldn't comprehend and get things together, and mentally, especially being on the manic depression side, she would break down really easily, and because of her status and coming up in the day, for people like that, but way back in the day, you basically was just retarded, considered retarded.
Yeah.
And so they treated you as such. And so my mom was sort of treated like that. And so they, wouldn't let her do a lot of things on her own. And even though she got married, had kids and different things like that, had 6 kids to be exact. But those things, I see how I used to say, I would examine each one of my siblings to see who had it and who didn't, and who had it the most and who didn't. And I would say, growing up, I would say, oh, I skated all that. I skated through all that. I didn't get any of that. So I thought, but it's there. I didn't know, because I started having to take care of my mom and people and things at a very, very early age. And so I learned to fight in many different ways, not just physically, but I learned that my thing was, if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it.
Yeah.
So I had to take care of everything. I had to take care of everybody. I had to make sure everything was right. And so because of my mother's mental status, we were always raised by either my grandmother until she passed, and then once my grandmother passed, we were raised by our aunts. And so our aunts took on a couple of us for a little while, and then they decided, no, I was always the choice for both of them. So once I would be with this aunt, then this aunt. No, she's staying with me, and I would go stay with this aunt. And then when I stayed with this aunt, the other aunt had the other kids, and then they got taken. And so at that point, at very young age, so we were separated from very young age. And then I decided that as I got older, that I would look for them. And so my siblings, I found each one of them somewhere around their 18th birthday, because that was the only time I could take a letter, take something to social service and say, I'm looking for them. If it's possible, let them know. And so what happened is they started looking for their biological, and when they did, and they went to social service, there was that letter saying I was looking for them. And so that's how I got to find all my siblings again. I dropped out of school at 8th grade.
Wait. You dropped out though because you got pregnant with my mom, right? Or no?
No.
No?
I had repeated 8th grade. I was on my 3rd go around by the time. Yeah. It wasn't because I was stupid.
No, you're very smart.
I just didn't go.
To school?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to go to school, and I didn't go to school because, like my brother, people picked at him all the time, and that's how I understood how he felt. You know, he just couldn't fight his way out of it. You know, and me, I became passive because of that, because I felt like I had to make people like me and not pick at me. But they picked at me because I always had short hair.
That's such a stupid,
because look at me now. I literally cut my hair off, and back in the day, if you had short hair, or what they would call you bald headed, and you know, back in the 60s, 70s, and you know, that wasn't the thing. They wanted you to have long, beautiful hair and stuff. And so they picked because I had short hair. And it was like, then my grandmother tried to put wigs on me. I was like, no. They tried to put wigs on me and everything. Straighten my hair, burn my ears and all that. And so because of that, being picked on, it was like, I don't want to go there.
So you don't want to go to school?
I don't want to go to school.
Yeah. That's such like a stupid person.
And so I think about that now. It's like all the things that I have arthritis now, so my hands stuff hurt and I'm old. But I think about all the things that people picked at you about way back then, and all the things that were so-called important. It was mostly because, especially for Black people, because white was right and they wanted to look white and be white.
People still like that though.
Yeah, they're still like that, but not as much. People are now, especially Black people now, are more into exploiting their heritage. Like, I'm Black, yes, and I have short hair. In fact, let me cut it all off, you know, and stuff like that. So, oh, you fat. Yeah, I'm thick, so what? And I'm like, look at Lizzo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Oh, and I had my child at 16.
Oh, yeah. Can you talk about that?
Yes. Well, that's funny.
No, it's not.
It is funny because, like I said, I was bad. People didn't know I was bad. And so I would get in trouble. And I wasn't just bad for no reason. My family pushed me to do things and caused me to do things that got me in trouble and led me the wrong way. And so, and then I still wanted people to like me. So I went for the people that, you know, I thought would like me, which are the wrong friends and people. And so I would go and steal from the store, go to the police station, get a beating. I would go and beat up people because some friends said, let's go do this. And, you know, and as a result, and then I decided to run away from my aunt. And I'm going to live with my mother. Well, mind you, my mom was mentally ill, so she really can take care of me. So I'm living with her, but I'm basically taking care of her, raising her. And so I got in trouble one night and went to juvie, and they decided, the judge said, oh no, she can't control you, so we're going to put you in juvenile detention. And they did that, and I was like, oh, no. And so it kept me there, and it was a real jail with a cell. Did that for about a year, and then they said, okay, so yeah, we can't trust you to go back there because she can't take care of you. I'm like, I go to my aunt. And I'm like, no, we got a record with doing stuff with them. And so we're going to put you in a group home. And they put me in a group home in New Brunswick.
New Jersey?
So I couldn't run back.
Oh.
Because that was miles, like 100, maybe 100 miles from, it was 2 hours away from where I live. So I'm like, okay. And of course, I got there, short hair. People didn't really, you know, they liked me, but they didn't like me because I was kind of pushing myself upon them to like me. And so After a while, I was like, I ain't putting up with these people. I'm going home. I figured out how to catch the bus home. And I caught the bus, went home. And the social worker, I was 15. Social worker said, and she caught up to me, she said, you know, I'm trying to save you. She said, I give you less than a year and you'll be running out here like these other girls praying. Because she knew that I really didn't want to be like that. But it was like, this is the lifestyle. This is where I am. This is what life has given me. She said, I'll give you less than a year and you'll be pregnant. I'm not getting pregnant, lady. You crazy. Less than a year, I was pregnant. When I went to the doctor with my mom, because even though I was grown and doing my own thing, they wouldn't let me, come on my own. Had to have her with me. I mean, I could go on my own, but certain things I couldn't sign for. And during that time, they had the rule that underage kids could not get an abortion without a parent's signature.
Oh.
And my mom wouldn't sign for me to get an abortion.
So you wanted one?
Oh, yeah. I did. Because I just didn't feel like I was ready for anything like that at that age. But, so I was like, okay. And so, voila, had your mom.
I do have another question though. Okay. Do you see yourself in like my mom or me, or like how you've influenced us?
I do. More so your mom. I'm a person that after you hurt me, I'm done with you. There's no coming back. When I divorced my first husband, it was a short marriage. It did stop me from still wanting to have a husband and have a family. And so with Grandpa Tim, with us being at church, I thought that was it. This was the family that I wanted. And so when things went bad for us.
Because they were fighting, right?
No, because there was cheating going on.
Oh.
So when things went bad for us, in my head, I thought, because my aunt had been married 3 or 4 times, maybe 5. And I said, that's not going to be me. I'm not going to. If it don't work out the first time, if it don't work out the second time, we don't need a third. It's done.
What about third time's the charm?
We didn't need 3. And so that's what I said. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to do a third time. So once we went our separate ways, I tried to hold on as long as I could. But once we went our separate ways, I said, that's it. I don't need no more husband. At that time, I was in and out of church. So I was like, I may get a boyfriend here and there, but I'm not trying to really get married or doing that. And then after the boyfriends didn't work, I thought, you know what? I'm good by myself, just me. I don't need nobody else. I'm okay. And so I gave that attitude to your mother.
Yeah, she does not like people.
And she like, I done did a couple of relationships. I'm done. I ain't never been married. Got to get married. No. That ain't my type. No. I'm good by myself. And so a lot of times I think, oh my God, I made her bitter towards relationships like that because of what she saw in my relationships, And that wasn't a goal, even though I tried to encourage her to do differently. Nah, I'm good. And so that's what I see, that I clearly can see that I instilled in her.
Okay, I have one last question.
Yes.
Okay, what is your hope for the future?
My hope for the future, and I say this, and I see this a lot. I see families doing this, not being close, not being together. At times like this, like I mentioned to your mom before, and I understand if she doesn't, she has her, her reasons why. And I know part of it was my adopted kids. But, and I say that when I say, okay, let's come back together and live together, because not only, you know, will we be there to have each other back, but times is getting hard. You know, everything is more costly now. You
Yeah.
know, it's easier to be together,
Multi-generational.
yes, than to be apart. And so my hope would be that if something happened to me, or I can't function for myself, or I'm gone or something, that you two, because it's pretty much only you two, will be stay extremely close.
I mean, I don't really think that there's like, you have to worry about that.
Yeah, I don't think I have to worry about it, but I'm just putting that bug out there. Make sure you remember that. Yeah. Stay close. Grandma said stay close.
Grandma said stay close, yeah.
That's always been my thing, because I've always been separated from my siblings. I've been more closer to my cousins. My cousins have been more like my sisters for many years than my siblings, because my siblings didn't grow up in the same house with me. But we're closer, you know, close again now. But so that's my thing is, you know, stay close.
Stay close.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. Thank you for talking to me today. Love you very much.
All right. I gotta get up from this chair.